Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History Chronicles, finally. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. It's good to see you, Raymond, and some new people. Hang on, just let me get the chat up. Jackie, g'day, and Kip, it's good to see you here. Who else is here? And Forbidden History Live. Yes, I can't forget Forbidden History Live. Alright, g'day all. Let's get into it. You're here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series YouTube channel and also Forbidden History Live. If you haven't subscribed to those two channels yet, please do. They are in the description. All the information is below in the description. Okay, the signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world. About who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand it is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth and they know it. But they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl, who I would like to welcome to the program as soon as I find your microphone. There we go. Welcome, Desert. How's it going? And can I please get a sound check?
Yeah. Hi, Ninja. Good to have you. Yeah, sound check. Give us a 10 if we're coming through, and also a balance check If I'm too high, then let me know. I can move my microphone away from my mouth, so we have an imbalance periodically. We rely on you friends out there listening in to help us out engineering here, because we're grassroots all the way. Well, thank you, Jackie. Yeah, they got all the money. We don't have any money, but we do get it done on a song, a wing, and a prayer. Right, Ninja?
Yes, we do. Eventually.
Okay. Right, right. Okay. Well, outstanding. And you want to steer me at the beginning here, because I know sometimes you have something you want to put on the table, and we do take comments and questions, by the way. And if you're directing something at me, a comment or a question, then please put desert in all capital letters and then use upper and lower case for your comment or question. Okay, that way I'll see desert and boom, I'll focus in on it. All right, because I can't read the board and do discussion at the same time. So I thank you for that, and welcome to Jackie and Raymond X in particular, and of course Kip, our new listeners and friends that keep coming back. Yo, Shelley, our engineer from Forbidden History Live, is there as well. Shelley, thank you. And so, yeah, where do you want to go, Ninja? I've got my books stacked up in front of me, my cards laid out. I'm ready for warfare here,
Yay.
but the positive
But
kind,
yeah,
peaceful warfare.
yeah, yeah. I've seen so many little things today. And g'day yo, Janir. Um, love you, and thank you for all your hard work. Again, thank you. It's much appreciated. And Lynn, g'day. Glad you made it. Thank you. Um, okay, so I'm wondering which one to start with. I think we'll leave the. Okay, I'll go with. Sorry, I'm kind of thinking out loud. Um, I'll start with the.
Thinking out loud can be dangerous,
I
so go
know.
ahead.
I know.
Right. Especially, and talking with the mic open is also
Desert,
dangerous
I knew
too.
you were
So.
going to say that. Um,
It all happens here. Uh, Actually, Ninja is turning out to be a world famous international radio broadcaster and hostess, and doing a great job for somebody that didn't even want to call in. Now she's, producing. So you never know what life is going to hand you on Ninja, right?
that's right. And
Huh?
this is all I want to do now. But um, yeah, on the other hand, I still need to. I just want. The only thing I'm lacking is there you go. Uh, I just showed you. The only thing I'm lacking is for my words to flow. Um, yeah, they kind of get stuck still, but yeah, get there.
Yeah, but
I'm
I didn't
learning from the
notice that
best.
I didn't notice that on Friday. We had a special program, and then you capped off the program, and you you had great presence, and you're able to accurately convey thoughts. I it didn't trip over yourself. I thought it was perfect. So you're giving yourself a less credit rating than I think you actually deserve. You went from just not calling in to then calling in and having good questions, and then ultimately producing a program for us, saving me. Thank you for saving me, Ninja. So enough
No
of
worries.
all that.
Anytime.
Yeah. So where are we going here?
Okay. I was thinking. I was thinking about. Okay. This is how my brain works. Okay. I think in pictures. And that's why it can be difficult sometimes to explain in words. Anyway, I was thinking about uh, uh, prophecy. I guess you can call it that. Signs in the sky. I just echoed. Is everything okay, does it?
Yeah, I had to turn on my air conditioner. I unplugged my headset.
Oh, okay.
I'm right back.
Okay.
The
Okay.
UVC and UVB are off the charts now. It's heating up. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had a hot day today and now it's freezing again. Anyway, uh, yeah, I was thinking about the statement signs in the sky for the end times. Looking for signs in the sky. And for some reason, I wanted to reverse it because, as you know, I went through my obsession, lifelong obsession with the sky, and especially last year. And we're all looking for anomalies in the sky, and uh, things on a smaller scale, things in the sky. And so it made me think. I was thinking how this whole world is. Uh, it's everything is upside down and back to front. It's a mirror world, and at this point in time, they have reversed everything. So the signs in the sky, I changed to the sky is the sign, meaning the whole sky, not something in the sky. And yeah, so I was kind of thinking that play on words there could be quite
Mhm.
a big part of the deception. Like the sky is the sign. The sky is broken now. They've wrecked it. The whole
Right.
sky.
Right.
Um,
Well, they're manipulating us with the sky. They're using it. They can put holograms up there now, and of course, they're
yeah,
flying their anti-gravity Vimanas, making us think aliens are coming to save us and everything. So yeah, that's all diversion. That's all. It's interesting to look at, but it's to get caught up in
yeah,
it. The only thing that from my standpoint, that's important is to connect with our eternal walk, with
yeah,
our true nature, and to put on that define the Eshavors, the words correctly, and the Shultres, which is the original word for scriptures. And so we talk about original meaning here because that which is first is superior, and the original thought, the original Eshavor, which is the original for word, is superior. And so therefore they define things. They sliced and diced our Eshavors, and therefore we can't get off of first base. And that's what we need to focus on.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
just
Well,
T Love, good to have you as well. Glad you're here.
g'day, T Love. How's it
Okay.
going? Yeah, that's what I was like. I was thinking along those lines, Desert, when I was
Yeah.
reversing it. The sky is the
Uh huh.
sign instead of looking for little things in it.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that led my thinking to um, time and our concept of time. I've written notes here, so I might just read them. I emailed myself because I
Yeah.
was distracted with
Well,
Mum and
okay, but all right. I want to jump in because just like the sky, time is another illusion. Okay, it's another illusion. We are in eternity right now. We're in two worlds. Two worlds are before us. One of the illusion of time because the sun goes around the earth, or the earth is spinning, the moon goes around, and then we got the annual cycles of going around the sun and the earth tilting in a different direction for summer and winter. And so that's just another diversion. That's where we have to be set free from the illusions of this world. But go ahead. What's your point?
okay, I'm just going to read you my notes.
Hmm.
Okay. I wrote down time reversed, running backwards. We always look forward in time, and I think that's uh, part of. I think that's an illusion. Time reversed, running backwards. I've got mirror world. Everything is backwards and reversed. We are born pure and innocent. Time counts down to death, which is eternal life. Doesn't count up, counts down. And that made me think of moving on, and also made me think of the word on is no, like backwards is no, so moving no. Kind of. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to explain. I just hope you can see what I was thinking. Um, and then I was playing around with the word move, um, and I reversed that, and it was EVOM. And tell me if I have this right or wrong. Um, then it became AVON. Is that right? EVOM to AVON?
What is the word, Yvonne? Yvonne?
Yeah, move backwards and yeah,
Okay. Well, I have to write it down. I can't define it without looking at it. So, what is the word we're looking at, Ninja?
move, M-O-V-E,
Move.
and
Move. And Evom.
yeah,
Evom.
yeah.
Um. Well, you know.
I don't know if it's anything. I was just playing around.
Yeah. Well, Yeah. It's EVOM. Avom. Yeah. So E. Okay. The E would be an A in the code. So AVOM. So we have two words. Ave, Av, which is the prime symbols for a star, as in Abraham, which is correctly Avramhaim, which literally means the star ram. Av for star. So the star sounds. So move is the star sound when you read it backwards. Avum. Okay, so what happens when you move? Things make noise, right? You're
Yes,
loading a truck or you're
yes.
you're moving down the street, so it's the avum. And so yeah, so that fits. That's a perfect anagram for the word move, you see? Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, we got there
She's always
eventually.
looking at words ahead of me, ladies and gentlemen. She's not staying with the program, so I got to deal with her. All
Yeah,
right.
we got there
But she's
eventually.
got she's always on to something. It's really good. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I think that's all. At the end, I don't know if this is anything, so I'll bring it up anyway.
All right.
Going back to the word time, I changed that to might.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah, but
MITE.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if
but
that's anything. Yeah,
No, I'm still
just the
stuck on
sound of it.
Avum. And so in other words, it means the star sound, right? Avum is the star sound. So in other words, remember, even in the word garden, din means sound. Only the
Yeah,
difference is gar means war. So literally,
yeah,
garden in the modern parlance means the sounds of war. That's their idea of a garden. When originally the garden is the gain. The gain gan is the corruption in the Hebrew, but you had the y Gayinn, and then you get gain. And because what happens in a garden, you get gain. You
yes,
gain produce. You gain substance for living. And so there's the gain noon. There's a gain at high noon. High noon. Why? Because it's the symbol of perfect light. At high noon. So the star sound then is the aspect of movement on the earth. It is the star sound because everything was made by the light, by the sun, and the ultraviolet light of the Father's breath. So all of those things are relevant. So very good, Ninja. Good. That's one to take note of. I'm gonna have to put that on a 3x5 card as well. So what we're doing here, and and may I proceed now on to Germanic and give an explanation for any of our new friends here today?
yes. Does it?
Okay.
That
And
was
Jennifer, good
yeah.
to have you.
That was
You
all I
popped
had
in
for
there
now.
real quick. Okay. So
G'day
what?
Jennifer. How's it going?
And so
Yeah, sorry. Please continue.
yeah,
Yeah.
what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is we're we're in the metaphor. We're breaking bread, and and meta means beyond. Okay, so it's beyond. In other words, when I used to interview Harvey Martin of MetaMind Portal, so MetaMind means beyond the mind,
Yeah,
MetaMind,
yeah,
and so metaphor is beyond our nature. In other words, meta means it implies a super nature that is beyond. So that's why, as myself being an owl, that's a metaphor, but it literally means that I am an owl. It's not I am like an owl. I am an owl, and and so in the aspect of breaking bread being a metaphor, what that then implies is we're defining everything here, and communicating is breaking bread. But and look at the word bread, right? What do we see? BREAD. Boom. Oh, I see the word the V red.
yeah.
Read,
That's what
right?
I see.
And read means Riad,
Yeah,
READ, which means then to re-ADD the RIDDLE. Riad the riddle, right? That's out of Shipley. That's out of the Indo-Germanic dictionary. Riad. He said read is literally a code for Riad, and it means to re-add the riddle. Okay, and so even back in the 1800s, they knew that there was a play going on in the words. They may not have seen it from a conspiratorial standpoint, but it actually is, because we have to go back to the Vatican. Then we find out our words are being engineered and controlled outside the Vatican at a place called the College of Abbreviators. And so once the occultic knew they could no longer control keeping the scriptures from the people, because the scriptures were now out and nothing could stop it, then the only thing they had left to do was to take over the meaning of the words, the eshavors, and then control the narrative within the scriptures. And that's why the King James became the standardized version, even though it was 90% Tyndale. But they had to make it their occultic version and put in occultic things, like in Psalm 119. They put in every 8 verses, they put the Hebrew letters, starting with the Aleph, then beta, and moving forward, they put the Hebrew alphabet right in the middle of the middle of the book, right? Because the Masoretes, the original word for Egyptians, the Egyptian priests, who are Masoretes, calling themselves today Jews up in Switzerland. That's the Masoretes, and it's the Egyptian text. They're in the middle of it all. They're in the middle of our tradition. Do you think that really the Egyptian Masorite Jews would actually want to give you a legitimate translation where they brag about it? Oh, we've crossed every T, we've dotted every I, and there's not a missing vowel or letter anywhere in the book. Actually, mentioning vowels, that's the first translation to come out of the Hebrew where they actually put vowels in and then locked it down. You see, and but we don't want the Hebrew. We need to go back to the Aramaic, in particular, from which George Lamsa and others brought forward. Even Etheridge, he did a translation around 1840 of the Aramaic Peshitta, New Testament, and then we've got some others. One came out of Australia. Ninja, I mentioned that is an outstanding work. Now, let me see if I can find it right here. No, that's not it. But so the thing is, it's word art. And word art is the game that is being played on us. So I'm going to show examples of words here that eshavors. Okay, Shipley. I can go in so many directions. It's hard to know which way to go. But Shipley, L. Austin Waddle. He also was doing the Indo-Germanic out of Sumer. Okay, and he says that today in our modern time, we're speaking 70% of our words go right back into Sumer, okay, because we are speaking the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. Now, of course, 100 plus years later, actually about 120 years later, 130, 40 years later, after Waddle, then now they're telling us that these are all the words of the Anunnaki, and that they are aliens that came down and are harvesting mankind. In other words, we were bred in a test tube, but of course, that's not the teaching of our scriptures, and it's not the evidence is all contrary to that. Remember, the alien thing is a modern day phenomenon, because there's always been anti-gravity craft with us, because they come out of India, and you can see it on the temples. So we got a lot of territory to cover in order to unravel the mystery of how we've been fooled, ladies and gentlemen. They control technology, they control it all. But the ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthood are the original fallen Aryan watchers. And just before I get into the words, let me just take you right into the book I was reading yesterday, the Book of Adam and Eve. But unlike the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden, this paperback reprint of the Book of Adam and Eve had an additional section in it I'd never seen before, and it's the book of Noah's building the ark. Okay, so it's the flood story, and what a treasure, because I'm just soaking this thing up. So let me just read the short chapter right here, because it'll prove out because you just posted on the Cosmic Essence, the first of several parts.
Yeah,
well, I think we have like at least 4 or 5 parts.
Yeah.
Of the true nature of the Watchers. So we got the first one placed there, and my contention has been, of course, that the Watchers are not, some invisible creatures with wings on their back, and they fly in, and then they had sex with women. Come on, if it were really true, they couldn't have sex with women if they're invisible creatures, right? But the point is that these fallen ones, as I've defined it. And you also have to look at the section in the Cosmic Essence on who Adam really is, because that'll blow your mind, because nobody has defined it other than myself here on this broadcast, and it's a fact. not to brag about it. There's nothing to brag about. It's just that we've been lied to and denied access to true information, ladies and gentlemen. And the gatekeepers are the priesthood. The priesthood is the gatekeeper. That's running our world. That's why the priest was always on the ship, whether it was the Hindu priest back in Mezar, falsely called Egypt, or whether it was the rabbi on the Phoenician ships at that time, or whether it's the Catholic priest on the modern day sailing ships for all the European nations. You know, the priesthood is the power broker. We thought he's just there for religion, you know, and loving people, but no, he's running the world, and he'd love to sacrifice you and kill you on his sacred altar, you know. And so what we find out then is I got a little slice in here where now I got some backup. I got some confirmation that is actually backs me up on what I was saying, that the fallen watchers are actually Aryans, and they had all the knowledge that Adam had because he was the one who was the that went up to the throne of the atom, which is falsely called Eden. They corrupted the words. Obviously, if they want to control our minds, they control the words. And so the atom is the sun. And even Enoch in his visions went up to the sun. Even Yalganun, John, in one of their scene writings, went up to the sun. Even Paul said he went up to the third heaven. Well, guess what? The sun is the third away from the earth, right? We got the earth, then we got Venus, Mercury, boom, the third. The third heaven is the sun, okay? That's the light. Everything came out of the light. These are the ideas that are so hard to wrap our mind around when we hear it for the first time, because this is what has been denied us, and we've been prejudiced against the sun, as if the sun were our enemy or something. Oh, you know, sun worship. Oh, you're talking about the sun? You know, even the Native Americans, when I read the book the Book of Wisdom by the Native Americans, they said in there, these people say that we worship the sun. And we don't worship the sun. We know that it is the great logo, and that behind the sun is the spirit, the great spirit. You see, but false teaching then corrupts everything, right? Yeah. And so here we go. But Noah, this is chapter 4 in this book. This is the one on the fallen watchers. But Noah preached repeatedly to the seed of Cain, who are the redhead spotted. They had the stain of blood. That was the mark that was put upon them. Nobody talks about that either, by the way. You know, it's just I'm just overwhelmed at how well the control factor is, and how was it that I was able to see these things, and other than by the grace of Yeshua, because he's the revealer. I was not smart enough to figure this stuff out. Okay, but the flood,
amazing.
Well, it just shows how rare. Just like in the Old Covenant, right? It was one guy that went and saved Israel. It was Moses, right? And they turned the tree into a bush. They said he saw a burning bush when it was a burning tree, because they didn't want you to get the picture that it's the tree of life. It is symbolically the tree of creation. You know, all of these things in the burning tree. The burning tree, therefore, in the primary symbolism is the sun. The sun. But Noah preached repeatedly to the seed of Cain, saying, the flood will come and destroy you if we do not rebreathe with the breath of a star. That's what repent means, to rebreathe with the breath of a star. You hear the word pent for the 5 points of a star, pent for breathing, panting, panther, okay, breathing. So you got to know these root forms, because they then create pictures for these eshavors, for these words, that you need to rebreathe with the breath of a star. In other words, become pure as the light. Become pure as the light, repent. But they would not hearken to him, and only laughed at him. And when the seed of Seth, okay, the seed of Seth went down from the holy mountain, that was where Jerusalem is today. That was the holy mountain. That was the sacred land. You know, all the way to the Sea of Galilee, originally called the Sea of Genocide. The Genocide is there's the word Nazareth. Then Nazareth. Nazareth was corrupted into Nazareth or Nazarene, but it's correctly Nazareth, and that means what was breathed into the nostrils. The Nazareth, what came down then, the ray of light, the star rays. That's what Hebrew actually means. It means the Avre, and it's the star ray, and the star rays are the tribe that became Eshareul. The only thing they weren't worthy of their tradition, and actually did not receive the promise. And this is part of the other story I don't want to go into right now. So when the seed of Seth came down from the pure mountain and dwelt with the children of Cain and defiled himself, so So here it is. These are the fallen watchers it's referring to. Here, let me continue. And defiled themselves with their abominations. That's what it said, right? They defiled themselves, right? With
Yep.
their abominations, and were born, and there were born unto them that which was called Garsunia. So it's a different word here. I have to look it up. I haven't done the etymology on this, but and so literally we got the story that the children of Seth, not invisible creatures with wings on their back, went down from the pure mountain to dwell with the children of Cain. We read that in the series that you're now
Yeah.
posting, Ninja, and they can
Yeah.
get that other part of it, okay? And they defiled themselves with the abominations that were born unto them children called Garesia. So these were the giants who, and it says it right here, who were giants. Here it says it's a corruption of the Arabic term because they were also comparing the Arabic, when they were doing this translation, by the way. This was the books that was found in Ethiopia, by the way, after they burned all the libraries in Jerusalem in the northern kingdom. And they bred giants, mighty men of courage, such as no other giants of equal or might. And plus they had the knowledge behind them as well with the priesthood. That's another part of it, right? So certain wise Ashan, that's word men is Ashan, certain wise Ashan of old wrote concerning them, and say in their sacred books that the royal messengers, not angels, because angels is a false narrative. The word angel was never in our scriptures. Angel is Anglo-Saxon. Angel is English. Just look up in the Latin dictionary. Look up in the Middle English dictionary. It's the greatest trick and deception we've ever bit into. There are no angels in our scriptures. It's Malak. Malak means royal messenger. Malachim is plural, royal messengers. Okay, so I'm a royal Malak. Ninja's a royal Malak. And if you're breathing truth about our eternal journey, then you become a royal Malak as well. But the angels gives a false impression of some creature that's invisible with wings on his back, because we got these pictures from the Vatican and from Babylon. You see, and so we have to get to square one, because it's all about people. Okay, that's not some invisible creatures that fly through the air. If you read, what is it, Isaiah, even Yahweh says over and over, there is none besides me, no, not one. If there was someone else next to me, I would tell you. But people buy into the great doctrine of the dogma. Yum, 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 yum. Eat it up. I love that dogma. What flavor is that? Don't ask me. Okay. So because they only follow things that have been handed to them, and they can't even get a revelation, because they're stuck on the lie. But remember, as we point out here on the broadcast, that if the way to find the truth is to discover all the lies. And once we discover the lies, we can wipe them off the table. We got nothing left but the truth. And the truth is not a part of any lie. Okay, so certain men of old wrote concerning them, saying in their sacred books that the royal messengers came down from the throne of the sun. That's heaven, because heaven is a corruption. They had to hide the light. And so heaven, if you know that the word H is the, then it's the even. I should probably do this in the chat because it's good to show some of this,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
good to be
here we
able to
go.
see and read. Yeah.
Okay, the even, which is? So heaven is the darkness. You see? The even, when is it the even? Between light and daytime and nighttime. That's the even, okay, when the sun is going down, and it's the evening in darkness, okay? So they really pull the trick on us. They talk about, I'm going to heaven. Oh, yeah, I'm going to darkness. You see? But if we know the code, that it is the even, then it's not the legitimate, it's not the original, and we can clearly identify with the light, that everything comes out of the light. And so therefore, in this instance, that's why the Aryans were called the sun gods. They were called the sky gods. They were called the seed of the sun, the seed of light, and and all these different other words, because they had the blonde hair, blue eyes of the sky, and white skin, blonde hair of the sun, white skin of a star, and they were taller than most of the others, in their qualities. So this is the thing that has been denied us in the narrative. We got false narratives, and I'm breaking the spell right here, right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you can follow. Okay, right here, right now. And there's people actually trying to destroy this narrative while we're doing the broadcast. We've dealt with that last week, but we can put up. Okay, we prove these things out a dozen different ways, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, those who've been with me for the last year, that's why they're still here. Okay, because they're getting the pictures, and like Ninja said, she works with pictures. And when you said that, Ninja, that's relative to the reason you're able to see the graphics in the letters and in the
Yeah, yeah,
combinations so
yeah.
well.
Because the
You
letters
get the
are
picture. Yeah.
pictures, logos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're the prime symbols that
yeah,
that work upon our psyche. If that's why they don't want us to look at the what's called the Phoenician alphabet or the modern day commerce alphabet, the legal diction, also known as war diction today, but originally was the first diction. But that's why they moved away from it, and then they gave us this Yiddish Hebrew. That's why they gave us this Aramaic. Now they did a switch out of the alphabet. Now it's this Syriac alphabet called Demotic, which in its particular form of demotic is El Strangulo, showing that it's demonic and that they were strangled by it. And then the Greek as well was switched out from the capital letters to these funny little squiggles we find in our Strong's Concordance, and that's also demotic. Okay, so why did they remove all this original alphabet that I'm dealing with, that I'm talking about? Because these are the keys. This is the code, and this is what brings back the original form. The AV tell a story. It's not for anybody who's not followed here and didn't get this part. The A B C is correctly A V G, and you know that in the Yiddish tradition of the Khazars, they say Abraham is Avraham. They're telling you it's A V, right? And the A B implies that which is first. So therefore, the A V is that which is first, and the A V combined create the six-pointed star, and that's the Star of David. And the A is hiding the V because that's why there's a cross member in the A, which is a upside down V. There's a cross member telling you it's a part of a picture, and they didn't give you all the pieces of the picture. It is the Star of David, what they call the Star of David, but never really did belong to David because that's an idol image that comes from India. Okay, so continuing here. So these royal messengers came down from the throne of the sun, mingled with the daughters of Cain. Okay, these were the sky messengers, the sun Elohim, who came down with the daughter and mated with the Aryans, who mated with the children of Cain, who were redhead and spotted, who bear unto them these giants. Now this explains why all the giants around the world that were discovered, right, whether in China, South America, even in the bogs of Florida, over near Death Valley in the caves, all of them that were mummified had white skin. If their skin was preserved, it's acknowledged they had white skin and red hair. Okay, but those who were just found, with skeletons and their hair was preserved, always had red hair. Okay, because they were a crossbreed between the ones who were endowed with special gifts and I want to say blessing. That's the only word I can use right now because of the problem we have right now, addiction. So they were the ones who had all the promises and all the blessings. So therefore, they're of a superior origin. Then they mate with children who are cursed with the stain of blood, and so they breed monsters. Bottom line, they didn't breed, a pure race. And the race was not pure, but cursed. And that's so they went all over the world building pyramid civilizations. They used those giants. They were also the puppet kings. And so that's why the temples were so big in Meitzar, falsely called Egypt, right? The temples were so big because they housed giants, and they paid homage to the giant kings around the world. Okay, that's the story that they're not correctly describing for us, but you did get it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And Valerie, good to have you to our broadcast. I know I go fast, because I got a lot of ground to cover. And so just know you can always do the replay, and you can stop and go. And I'm here for comments and questions. If you have one, I'd love to help you out on clarifying what it is I'm breathing here. What I'm sharing with you. Okay. So, but those wise men err in what they say, talking about the ones who are writing books, sacred books way back when. And he says, but those wise men err in what they say. The great Dol of Haim forbid such a thing, that royal messengers who are invisible spirits, because that's what it says here, spirits. With the footnote, the Ethiopic construction is not quite correct here, and the Arabic reads royal messenger spirits should be found committing dark acts with human beings. Okay, so it's making a clarification, and we'll follow up on this. Okay, that a spirit cannot mate with flesh and blood, is what it's pointing out here. You see, and so continuing, never can that be? Of course not. That's what I said right at the beginning here. And if such a thing were the nature of the royal messengers or the serpent, for the serpent, serpents are very wicked and infamous. Okay, and so the serpent being the flesh versus our spirit. And remember, we have a problem with translations that have been going through several different languages of, that's a bad word too, but to go through different forms of communication. So much is lost, but this is the essence of this, okay? Moreover, they are not male nor female by nature, if they would be such, but they are small, subtle spirits and have been black ever since they transgressed. But you see, the bad translation, not black, but in darkness. That's what it means. Ever since they transgressed. Who? The watchers. They fell into darkness, right, from the light. You see, and so the bottom line here is, but they are people just like us, subtle spirits that have been in darkness ever since they transgressed. But many Ashon say that the royal messengers came down from the sun and joined themselves with the women and had children by them. This cannot be true, and I will explain this right quick, okay? And then there's a footnote, see Matthew and 22:30, same in Mark, St. Mark, same in Luke. See also note 5 from the Quran. He's referring even to, but I don't give any credit to the Quran at all. I would not even refer to it because it's all written by the Vatican. The Quran was written by the Vatican, by the way, and they created Islam. Okay, but here's the bottom line. He says that they didn't come down from the sun. Why? Because Adam came down from the sun, right? They didn't, because why? Here is the answer. Because they were the children of Seth. Thank you very much. My second witness. They are Aryan race, children of Seth, who were of the children of Adam. That's why they didn't come directly down from the sun. It was Adam who was up there while Yeshua was making all things. It said that he wanted to know what Adam would call all things. That's why his name properly is dictum. When you look in the Strong's Concordance, you find the other half of Adam's name, and it's Dick for diction, dictionary. You see, they hid that from us. Just like the other half of Eve's name is in our scriptures, it's Kai. Correctly K, but with the CHI when it should be CHAY. Actually, KHAY. Forgive me. And K is the other part of her name. Then you put it together, you got Keva. So there's the word for the cave. A cave is our mother, because they first lived in the cave of treasures, and all these things are there. And so you can prove out that they're lying to you in the Hebrew, Yiddish Hebrew with the Strong's Concordance. Even Lot. Lot is not Lot. You look in the Strong's, you find out he's Lotan. Well, why did they have to hide that? Maybe because it's similar to Latin, could be. Maybe there's something to the word. We got to look further at that. Okay, so they were the children of Seth, who were the seed of Adam, and that dwelt in the mountains, high up, suspended, talking about in the center of the earth, the navel of the earth, today called Shalom or Jerusalem, while they preserved their virginity, that is their pureness, their innocence and their illumination, like royal messengers, and were called the royal messengers of the sun, the royal messengers of Yahweh. But when they transgressed, those Aryans, sky gods, sun gods, seed of light, that's what Jacob means. Yahweh means seed of light. But when they transgressed and mingled with the seed of Cain and engendered seed, ill-informed men, ill-informed Ashon breed. Well, see, it wasn't that they were ill-informed. The reason he's saying that is because obviously they were controlling the scriptures back then, and they were controlling the narrative. Who? The priesthood. As I said, they're the gatekeepers. We got to know we're being lied to, then we can unravel the mystery. The ill-informed men said that royal messengers had come down from the sun. No, they were already here as the Aryan race and the children of Adam, who knew how all things operated because he had named all things. Go back to the first couple chapters of Genesis, and you'll see where it was said he was taken up to the Eden, which is the Adam. And then what did it say? That he took him out of the Atom, out of the Eden, and placed him in the lower garden. You see? So there was two gardens, and that's part of the great mystery, And these are all the convolutions that they've created so we can never figure it out and never get back home, ladies and gentlemen. And so So ill-informed priesthood said they weren't ill-informed. They had an agenda that the royal messengers had come down from the sun and mingled with the daughters of men who bear these giants. Okay, so that's just a little slice showing now unequivocally that they were the children of Seth, the fallen ones. Okay, the children of Seth, and that's why Seth is related to the word Set, S-E-T. We find it in Mesar, falsely called Egypt. Set, because the setting of the sun, because the light was going down. The light was going down. That's why he got that title, because the truth was not going to be revealed again until the time of Yeshua, when Yeshua came to bring truth to mankind, because they were not ready for it. And that's why Esau was annihilated and were not worthy, and set up columns and and idols, because they were not going to they couldn't, because it's all about the second born, you see, and because they were the firstborn, then it was implying that there was still another regeneration of and a birth that was to occur, and Yeshua brought it to us, first risen from the dead, our elder brother. Okay, so priesthoods are the gatekeepers. And then what I like this one. I just having fun with words here. I love the fact that the word
have a list. Yeah.
you have your own list on Ninja. Okay, so popular. I shared this with Ninja earlier today. Popular looks like Pope you liar. Popular Pope you liar. See, and sure he is. They're the biggest liars on the planet. And
and pop
then
music. Pop music.
yeah,
Pope
and
music.
Pope music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
remember now.
really hip.
Yeah.
Really hip. And
Yep.
so Raymond X Desert question: what are the full name of Adam and Eve? Yeah, so it would be. I'll spell it. I'll put it in the chat. Okay. And so yeah, because they abbreviated our words. That's what I said they do outside the Vatican at a place called the College of Abbreviators. What a trick! How could we know the original root forms if we don't study Indo-Germanic? They got to stuck in the Hebrew and the Greek, which are all made by the priesthood, and nobody spoke Hebrew in the 2,000 years ago other than the wealthy and the priesthood. Sefer, which is the name of the Hebrew Bible. Sefer means book, and there's your Lucifer, and Sefer means code, cipher. And so Lucifer means the true code, the true cipher. You see, yeah, because we could never figure that out if we're reading their code instead of going back to what was first, what is original, and what was unadulterated. And so let me put it in here, okay? So Adam, which is correctly, well, I'll do it all. I'll do it all here. Correctly, Adom is actually Dich. And I'm not going to go into all the Indo-Germanic because it would be a little convoluted. Dick, the A is silent here, so you just have to know that, okay? You have to know that. So it's dictum, right? Where you get the word D-I-C, right? Diction, okay? That's so, yeah, so he named everything. That's why when the woman came, when came into the lower garden, he fell asleep. It says he fell asleep, and when he wakes up, he sees his other half. He's a divided creature, and what does he say? Whoa, man, woman. And he says, I'm going to call you Keva, because you are the mother of all living. Okay? The mother, how did he know she was the mother of all living? Because he named everything. He named everything. You see? He knew how everything operated. He knew that she represented the virgin light. Woman represents the virgin light. That's what Maryam represented the virgin light. Okay? So it's all, and so Eve, okay, we get this, but that's a corruption actually of which in its complete form, as well, they say Chi, Chiva, but it's correctly Khayvat, like that, and it's pronounced Keva, and there's the word Cave in our modern time. Remember Yeshua? There was no room for him at the inn, and where was he born? He was born in a cave that was made into a stable. He was born in a cave. The Mother Earth provided him a place. Okay, so Raymond X, you're saying dictum sounds like dichotomy, okay, a division or contrast between two things that are represented as being opposed or entirely. Well, that's a good point, because what do we have in this lower world? we've got the opposites, right? We've got the yin, the yang, the up and the down, the hot, cold, in and out, male, female, right? We got it, darkness, light and darkness. It's all here. Thank you very much. So there's a confirmation on his title, on his name, because he represents the division. That's why as soon as he comes out of the atom of the sun, he comes to the lower guard, and what happens? Boom, he's split apart, male, female. There you go.
Yeah, the duality.
Thank you, Freeman. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. See, Ninja, I told you that we talk about this stuff, and you never know what's going to come on the table, and we all benefit. I love it. Everybody's got eyes to see out there if they want to, see things clearly. It's just, that's why we got to play with these words. We got to work with them. We got to analyze them. And you're saying a dichotomy is a partition of a whole into parts. And in other words, the couple of parts must be jointly exhaustive. Okay, and so this is like why when he told her, he says, did not the great Elohim tell us that if we eat this fruit that did he really say that we would die? And she says, well, the great Elohim said that if we would eat that we would die. He said, nay, but he doth know that when we eat this forbidden fruit, that we will be like the great Elohim to know the difference between what? Not good or evil, because those are the abstracts they pass down to us. But sun and moon. We will know the difference between sun and moon, because then we can get a picture. One is light, one is darkness, and the occultic follow the moon, the Luciferian moon in the darkness of the night. You see, so all these things are there. And then your other statement is everything must belong to one part or the other, and mutually exclusive. Nothing can belong simultaneously to both parts, such as partition is also frequently called bipartition. Right. Okay. Well, there's truth to, but you see, it wasn't a rib that actually came out of Adam. That's the code again. See, the rib is RIB. Okay. And this is part of the trickery that they played with us, is correctly RAV. And that literally means the star ray. Star ray. Okay. The star ray. And so she wasn't taken out of the Rav. Okay, forgive me. That I'm dealing with two words here. Royal. I was confusing with the word for the other word that is in the narrative. I got to think about it for a moment. The royal star, STAR. Okay, rib is is Rav, RAV, and that's the royal star, and that's where you get the word rabbi from. You see, because he's a royal star, right? He's a teacher. He's calling himself a royal star. That's why when they went after Yeshua, and the couple times that they called him Rave, not rabbi, but Rave, they were literally saying to him, royal star, as a teacher. You see, they're calling him a royal star. They know it. He is the star, isn't he? We know that. And you see, and so this is how it was corrupt. So therefore, when it said that Keva was taken out of the side of the atom, and that could imply the ATOM / the ADOM, okay? It means that she was taken out of the royal star. And so both of them came out of the light of the sun, and then she comes also out of Adam, who also is the royal star. Why? Because he named all things. He knows how all things have operate. That's why they were the culture that were able to build the great stone pyramids and cut blocks like the polygonal stones we see all over the world. The puzzle pieces that nobody can figure out how they cut them, let alone how they could lift them. You see, that's where the knowledge came from, because he was there naming all things, why Yeshua was making all things. You see, so just like Yeshua is the first made in the universe, the first atom, ATOM, then Adam, as it said right there in Genesis, was the first made before anything else was made on earth, and he's taken up to the throne of the sun. While all of nature evolves, because nature did evolve over the 4 billion years that the earth was formed as a gaseous lava ball of fire that came out of the sun. That's why it goes around the sun, because it's the mother star, and then it cooled, and then water formed, and then the earth came up out of the water, and then ultimately all life evolved. The only difference is we did not evolve. We are a superior race. We are not of this world, and therefore we did not evolve. But it's clear all of nature evolved. Who can't deny, the age of this earth when you look at it, and the fact that evolution is still happening right in front of us. Right in front of us, it's happening today. We can see it, So the priesthood is controlling the narrative. That's why we've got false notions about things that didn't really happen that way, and it's a great mystery. So I hope I answered that question. That it wasn't, that was the code. The code got us thinking, oh, she's made out of the rib. No, she came out of the royal star. I mean, that sounds a little more profound and more well, how do you want to say it? Phenomenal, more phenomenal. Yeah, not made from a rib, but made from the royal star, because she represented the royal star. You see? So microcosm, macrocosm. She's the micro, and the sun is the macro. The woman represents the virgin light, but she became corrupted, became a whore. And then we saw that in the other Mary, Mary of Magdala. Mary of Magdala means the center of idolatry, which meant the center of whoredom. You see? So we have a Virgin Mary, then we have a prostitute Mary, who was healed by Yeshua. Casting out the seven is casting out of time. She goes into eternity in the symbolism, you see? So here's another interesting word, parish, in the word parish, showing that these are code words that don't mean what we think they mean.
Desert, just I see something in that. I'm sorry. I know you're on a roll.
Yeah, just like we don't want to say good morning because it means you wish somebody had a death in their family. We don't want to mourn. We're supposed to be excited when the sun comes up, not mourning. But the word parish is also the word parish. So there you go. If you go to a parish, you're going to perish because they are lying to you. The priesthood, Ninja. What?
I was just agreeing with you. I saw that as soon as you said it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we having too much fun here, Ninja? Can we continue or what?
I'm loving it. Please continue. I've had a long day, and I'm quite happy for you to roll on.
Right. Well, maybe, what time is it? Maybe we should take a break. I rest my voice here real quick. Okay, why don't we do that? Let's go to a music, and then we'll finish up with a few more words, just a few more, and then we'll get into, because I want our friends that are coming on for the first time to really wrap their minds around the Indo-Germanic. Yeah. How it is a code. It's not like what you've heard about the Bible code, where they're saying, oh yeah, there's Hitler, or there's Rockefeller, or there's all these different scenarios that go on. This is not anything like that. We're talking about the code of the letters. Yeah. Reveal the original pictures.
Yeah, they switched them from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're talking about the pictures that were created by the combination of letters that put us on the trail back to the original thought. And thank you, T-Love. She says I can take a break now. So let's do it, all right? And when we get back, we'll have a little more fun revealing what nobody else is revealing here on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing it first here. You know that, and that's why you want to tell your friends, because this is only for a short moment. Boom, they're already trying to take us down.
Yep.
You know that the Zionist shills have come in and tried to take us down behind the scenes. Took us a year to figure it out, but we're gonna play it as long as we can and say it the way it really is. I'm Dezert-Owl. Glad you're tuned in. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Right, Ninja?
Yeah. How long do you want?
Well, give me at least 5 or 7.
Okay, you got 4 or 7. So
All right. That's good enough.
Okie dokie. All right. Stay with us, guys. It's amazing already. My head is spinning. We'll be right back. Okay, I was on mute.
Gotta have sound. That makes bad radio, Ninja. Come on. All right.
Okay, I'll start again. I'd like to uh, welcome back everybody, and I'd like to welcome any new listeners. I said this a lot better 30 seconds ago. Um, you're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles here with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Live YouTube channels. If you have not subscribed, the links are in the description. Please do so. They are both amazing channels. The Forbidden History series is Desert's old channel that he can no longer access. If you go back to June 21st last year, 2018, that will help you wrap your mind around what we're talking about a lot better. It's all there. Desert lays it all out on the table. Okay, Desert. Then I was talking to you, Desert. Welcome back. And I'm going to put the kiss graphic up because I was reading Raymond's comments. If you scroll up a bit, where he's talking about Ava is also of Arabic descent, and I can't read all.
Well, no,
of
I
that,
was just
but
saying that they were translating it from. They had comparative translations. One of them was Arabic. Okay, so that's how it was preserved,
Arabic.
part of the story.
Yeah,
And
but
so they compare.
see the cave.
Right. Okay. Before we get into this, can I just make an announcement real quick? Okay, because I
Yeah,
wanted to say something. All right.
yeah,
And so this week, ladies and gentlemen, this past week, we addressed a very important issue um, that is rather unpleasant to have to deal with. But of course, we had to. It took us a year to figure it out. I saw Ninja getting beaten up left and right by government agent shills of some sort that obviously must get paid to do it because they're so proficient at it and they have nothing better to do. And they came to us under the guise of Christianity, but found out that not one element of their behavior is a Christian and totally unethical, and actually going around trying to harm other people, actually committing battery and criminal offenses against Ninja, and including myself and the broadcast, and also manipulating and trying to control others at the same time. So what I want to do is to tell everybody that when you hear negative about somebody, that you should investigate it yourself and don't buy into any narratives, because remember, the maxim of law is that all people deserve the benefit of any doubt. That's the maxim of law, of common law, natural law, any law theoretically, but of course not in the bankruptcy law of the Zionist Jewish bankers. You're a debtor and therefore you're guilty and you're going to prison. We know you're innocent. You didn't do nothing wrong, but we need your hide, and we're going to bond your hide and put you on Wall Street in a Wall Street prison. So that's the way the game is played today by these these Khazarian factions that claim to be Israel and are not Israel, support all the Israel narrative, have no ethics, and then follow. Actually, when you look at how they act, clearly following the Babylonian Talmud, and the doctrine of the Babylonian Talmud. And if it looks like a shill, acts like a shill, walks like a shill, then it must be a shill, ladies and gentlemen. And so we addressed that. We have two broadcasts we did. Okay, number 177. Part 1, number 178, Part 2 on Ninja's channel here. And so we would ask that you'd listen to it because it's the perfect example, especially Part 2, of the anatomy of a Zionist shill, all under the cloak of religion, the religion cloak being Christianity, just like for Israel, the cloak is the Old Covenant, the Tanakh. And the story and the tribe of Zavramhaim. It's all a cloak because they're not even related to them. They're not related to Yaakov or Eshayak or Zavramhaim. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was what I just said in the original, because they I prove out, of course, the original names. And if you've been following, you know them already. But that's what we talk about. And this is what they're wanting to destroy, wanting to hide from your ears and your eyes. They don't want you to see and read things for yourself. They want you under the spell of their Hebrew and of the Demotic Greek, which is a phony Greek, and you can know it in a heartbeat just by getting your Strong's Concordance out, and then go look at the monuments that are around the world, around Greece. They're all using capital letters. They don't use squiggles, So what I say can be proven real simple. Like I said, Sefer is the Hebrew Bible. That means Lucifer, the cipher, the code, the true cipher. So they cleverly, as these agents do, mind you, this is not the first one I've been bit by. I lost a house on a lake, in East Texas, due to these shills, and double agents, infiltrators, sellouts, whatever you want to call them, and also many times more than that, because I had 2 political organizations and radio broadcast, and have been systematically one event after back on. Is it ramping back up or what?
Yep.
All right. So we'll just hang on. Just hang on. Okay, we're back on the broadcast. Yep. So we got scriptures, lost writings, ended up with 60 different translations of our modern day scriptures, and all the lost writings on top of that. So I'm a deep study, and so it's easy to pick on, something that nobody has ever heard before. It's easy to point a finger at that and say, oh, that's stupid, but no, they're stupid. Okay. Stupid is as stupid does, because anybody who wants to know something has to research something, has to ask a question, and that shill never ever at any time ever asked me a question about anything I was doing, because it didn't matter. She didn't want to know, and it wouldn't matter, because all the purpose is to destroy. They pretend to be Christians and then they destroy. So Forrest Gump, that's right, T-Love. I feel like I've been there and done that. I found that movie to be rather enigmatic, you know what I mean? Enigmatic, because just like being under a squadron of 30 UFOs, you wonder what it'd be like to be under one, right? And then the Heavenly Father puts me under a squadron of 30. But I have a retired intelligence officer friend who was voice at Mission Control for 2 years and told me where I might be able to find them the next day. And I just right in the town I was making my delivery to, Jackson, Mississippi. I asked some guys working there. He suggested I ask guys if they'd seen anything flying around. I did. One of the guys drew a better picture of the craft than I could. And he told me they were buried underground in the airport. That's where they come out. They wear black, and they said they're part of the Drug Enforcement Agency. Go figure, that the backwooded people would, not have much of an influence on, what's going on. So anyway, I wanted to just mention that because listen to part 2 at a minimum, okay, the anatomy of a Zionist shill under the cloak of Christianity, because they're good, they're really good, but when you look at behavior, okay, then that tells the story. And so I had to go there. Ninja, forgive me, but it's not out of me yet. Okay, we're working on getting past this, but I want to remind people listening to this broadcast, you need to know what's going on in our world, because Ninja's been extremely victimized by this creep, okay, and injured by this creep. And I was there all along as a friend and an advocate, but I couldn't pull the story together yet, because there were not enough answers. But this has been the collective of about 5 or 6 people comparing notes and bringing it together. We
needed all the puzzle pieces to see it.
That's what happened. Yeah, the behavior was there. We wanted nothing to do with that pathetic behavior of Barbie, out of Tucson, Arizona. But it was a matter of, who was she really? And that's the thing we didn't suspect. We're not minding other people's business. We're minding our business. We got a production we're doing. And then somebody comes along with a few words, and they can literally destroy a lifetime of work. Okay, a lifetime of work. But as you know, ladies and gentlemen, you don't hear this anywhere else. And I back it up with a lot of substance, but you've got to see it for yourself. I can't make you see it. I can only put it on the table for you. And you have to see and read things for yourself. And that's what the word behold means in our scriptures. It should have been translated, you must see and read it for yourself. That's what Yeshua was saying. You must see and read it for yourself. So Ninja, back to you. You got eyes to see, I've noticed.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm just looking for the graphic now. I hope I have the right one, because I have 2 labeled very similar. So if I put the wrong one up, I'll change it quickly. Okay.
And while you're doing that, I noticed Valerie says she's in East Texas. I was based out of Jacksonville and also near Henderson on Lake Stryker. Henderson was my address, right near the big town of Jacksonville, Valerie. So maybe we were neighbors at one time. Could be. So okay, Ninja, what are we doing?
I just wanted to go back to what Raymond was saying further up the chat.
Yeah.
He put a word in the chat that was very much like, I hope I've got the right graphic again. So just bear with me if I don't. Yep,
All right.
that's it.
Mhm.
Very, very, very similar. Very similar. Actually, more like caver. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's more like caver. But what I was seeing, I'm just scrolling in the chat now.
Okay, while you're scrolling, I'll just
Yeah.
say that the word, whenever you see two S's, or like you see the word kiss, you see the word Isis in there, or also Isha in the Aramaic for a woman. Or so when you see that combination ISS, you got the word Aisha. That's a corruption of the word Aisha, and the K is a primary is a prefix on K, Khay. That's why we call it K. You see, because you can see the word K in Khay. There it is, but you combine them and you get Keisha, and so Keisha means the fiery keys of the eye. And then the word royal is Shah, so it's more like the royal fiery keys of the eye. So when we're kissing, we're it's because we are supposed to be stars,
Sun
and so it's like a
kissed.
star
Yeah.
kissing a star, sun kissed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I found it. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Hiwot means life. And back up here, Kava. Can you see where I'm referring to in the chat? Because
No.
it's really hard to explain what I'm seeing.
All right. Okay.
But I just see it all connecting. Keisha and Kiss and life and the sun and all this stuff connecting. My head is spinning.
Okay.
So if
Well,
that
let me
didn't
take
make
over
sense
then.
to anybody,
That's all right.
please give me the sunrise. I apologize. Yeah.
We'll let you live another day, Ninja. Don't worry about it. All right. So let me just do a couple more words, and because we had a reading that we were going to do part 2 on, and
Okay.
my voice is feeling it, so I'm going to just refer to a couple more words. So East is an abbreviation. Okay. Okay. East, let me try EAST is breast, which is correctly. You see, so we lost the words from the East. And so Orient, you see, the word Orient means East. Orient, Orion. There's the word Orion, and also
Yes.
Aryan is in the word
Yes.
Orient, you see? And so there's your sky gods, there's your sun gods, because East, as it means breast, well, what is our breast? What is the breast that we nurse off of every day? It is the sun. You see, so that's where we get our orientation, right? From the sun. And so that's how it goes back, ladies and gentlemen. And these are the key elements. And so in other words, why when the words the Aishavors went west, why didn't we take the word Orient with us, right? Well, we didn't. They changed the words. See, so you can see the word East is an abbreviation of breast, and there's the letter R for royal, and then the B is the V for the virgin light. You see, the virgin royal light of the breast. It's all in there. That's what the breast is, a virgin royal light. Don't let me. So Occidental, whereas Orient means east and refers to the sun, because that's where we get our orientation, because that's where everything came from, the light. Then Occidental, you can hear the word for occult. Occidental means west, and the sun going down. And so these are the way they tricked us by removing these words out of our vocabulary. Then again, they can control the narrative, you see. And ministry, ministry, this is a good word to show you. Let me type it in there. Okay, is like 3 words, okay? And literally MI by itself, like MI6, MI5 in British intelligence means, the all-seeing eye, right? And in Mitzare means the MI again means vision, like in a microscope, or like in minutes, very small notches, minutes, right? Minutes. And so ministry then literally means the little star
I see.
ray. The little
Can I?
star ray. You see? Go ahead.
Um.
And that's what we
Wow.
have as a
I
ministry.
see.
We are a little star ray. Okay, we're just a little ray of light shining that somebody wants to put out and occult, and they want to occult us, but we're not going to let them get away with that. What, Ninja?
Okay. Okay. So looking at the word ministry as in um, religion and ministers and things,
Yeah.
I saw minions in that.
Yeah, well,
Minions.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are all forms of the word. So,
Yeah.
okay, so Kip is saying any connection between Aryan and Asian. Well, Asian, Ashan, is man. Okay, spelt like this. That's man as we find it in German. The two N's because two N's represent the one M, and so literally Asian probably correctly then is Ashann. I hadn't dwelt on that. But you see, there's the word harvest, right? Because the royal eye of the harvest. Then Ashan means the royal eye of the harvest. Well, we are also, as we call ourselves man, to use that terminology, which if we go from Adam, when what they sometimes use the word Adam for man, but that's a corruption because man in Old English means criminal and sinner, and in the Babylonian Talmud, man means something even worse, like a piece of garbage. A man is a piece of garbage, according to, and there's the word moon. As you can see, the word man is also a component of the word moon in both of its consonants. Consonant. You see, consonant. They are cons because they're conning us, and they're really sonants, not consonants, but sonants. You put it on the table, ladies and gentlemen. I can't make this stuff up. Okay, you know it's true once it's been presented for you properly. And so Adam would be correctly creation, right? Creation, because but then in the word itself we got Adam. I'm wondering if I should just type this or I'm doing it on paper first. ADOM, and so let me do this. ADOM then means the eye of judgment. Okay, so Adam, because the A is the eye. That's why it's the first letter of the alphabet. And dome means judgment, just like, they have a dome on the courthouse. They put a dome, on the religious center because it's about judgment, right? So the dome, so it's the eye of judgment, and therefore the earth, the dome on the building is symbolic of the half earth. It's halfway round, and so it's symbol of the earth, and so the earth is the place of judgment. That's where we make distinctions about what we're going to do, where we're going to go, who we're going to associate with and not associate with. We make judgment. You see, judgment is not an evil word. What Yeshua said was, I did not come to judge the world. He didn't say that. He said, I came not to condemn the world. What we're not supposed to do is to condemn others, but we all make judgments about things. We make distinctions about all those things, right? So, A, therefore, is the eternal. The A, what's at the bottom of the A? If the A is an architect's compass, right? These are the proverbial twins. They don't quite look the same, but you know that they're related because at the bottom of the architect's compass, when he makes a circle, well, there it is. At the bottom of the A is the O, and they are the prime vowels. They switched them out with the E and the I. Correctly. Without the cap. There's a little moon on top. The dot is the moon on top of that I. There's your pillars. The pillar of Yakin and Boaz, the two pillars of Freemasonry that go back into the Molochian tradition. That Israel followed. They made the pillars. It says in the King James they made idols, but actually Fenton got it right for our Fenton that they made the two columns. And the two columns represented sun and moon, the pillars of the earth, the pillars that are supporting life on earth. And in between the pillars, they had the altar, and the altar is where you, as it sounds, altor, all power, altor, and they passed their children through the fire and even did their sacrifice there, and probably had lunch as well. I think they probably had lunch at the altar, and and so they made groves, groves of trees where they did it all, made it real pretty, like a little park, and they were forbidden to do all that. So there you go. There's some of the Shavors. I wanted to go a little deeper today for our friends that are tuning in for the first time. It's a deep science. Most people, they say Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so, and that's all I know. I don't know anything else. I just know Jesus. But yet we were brought here to become an enlightened creature, a creation. Okay, Adam means creation, and man was thrown in there, which is a corruption. Okay, man is a corruption, and but it's okay. We can use it. In other words, we got to use these terms, just like I was seeing in the chat earlier. Friends were talking about Yeshua versus Yeshua or Jesus. So okay, I'll spell them out here. And mind you, you don't have to stop using Jesus if you don't want to. Okay, you don't have to. What you feel best with at the time you're at. Even if the culture was so bad, they lied to us and they told us his name is Bob. You can call him Bob if you want. Okay, but because he'll listen to you. If your heart is pure and your mind is directed towards him who is above, then that's what's more important, the position of your heart. But as we evolve, and we do evolve in our minds, in the deeper meaning of things, the objective is to go back to that which is first. Okay, so when I talk to people, I still use the words Jesus Christ, but look at what Jesus means, right? It's Jesus, and it's two words. It's Indo-Germanic. I thought it was relative to the Greek Zeus, but it's not. It's not. And then we go here, Yesus. So there we have the Indo-Germanic two words. They abbreviated them, two words, and it means you. I hate doing this, but it's the truth. Okay, I want the truth, and so that's how they feel about us. That's this Zionist, right? They gave us a name that was from the primitive. That's why I'm revealing the Indo-Germanic, because it means you pig snout. That's what Jesus means. You see, that makes sense when we know how wicked they are. They say they deceived the entire world. Well, is it Joshua? Is it Yeshua? Is it? No, it's not. It has no relative connection to our Eastern tradition. This is a corruption by those in control. They know the meaning of this. You could have never figured it out, because nobody is a student of Indo-Germanic, apparently, outside of scholastics, talking about it on the web other than myself. Okay, there are Indo-Germanic dictionaries you can find. You search them out just like I did. Okay, I wanted to know. So in the Messianic movement, Yeshua, Yeshuah, then is M-A-Y, name be blotted out forever. Okay, so they got all the Jewish people, the decent Jews who wanted to really follow the Moshiach. No, the J came about 200 years ago officially in our alphabet. It was used upwards of early as 500 years ago, Raymond, but the J is a latecomer. They replaced it in the Middle English dictionary. There were two I's. One was a vowel, one's a consonant. Okay, and and so that's why Jesus was originally Isus, right? We see there, Isus sounds like ISIS. You see, all of these other elements are in there, and you think you call him Bob, Jackie, after hearing that one, right? Sounds safe. You got it. And it reads the same way backwards and forwards. So that's a perfect anagram. But what got me, when I finally discovered the truth, the first thing I noticed that Joshua, Josh, Joshuah, Joshua, then there's no J. See, again, you got to know that there is no J, and that's the first tip off that something's majorly wrong. Yahshuah. Okay. And of course, in the beginning, I got to just put it in the beginning here. Yeah, Joshua. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeshua. Okay. And Joshua doesn't have, I don't think it has an H on it. It's probably with the UA. I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember all this stuff half the time. Because words are like fluid. And first of all, they gave them to us wrong. Right. Jehovah would be Yahweh, but Yahweh is an incorrection because there is no W. Okay, let me put my, I was typing, it wasn't working. Y-A-H-W-E-H is correctly Y-H-V-H, which then is Y-A-H-L-L Yahweh. Okay, so Yahweh, there is no W because it's the letter M flipped over to make a code because it was a V, and so there it is. Yal is that which goes round. We're on the big dial because the Earth is going round. It's the big dial. Yal is that which goes round. You can hear the word dial, and then Yal vol vol for volumes, the volumes, the infinite volumes of light and creation that continue to go round. And then the hey, the H is the breath. That's from the Father because he breathed and then there was light and there is light. And then the AY is the prime root of the word I. It's not EYE, it is AY. Okay, that's the prime. It took me decades to see this. Okay, this didn't happen yesterday. You know, it was actually after I lost my apartment in Georgia. So 6 years ago is when I finally saw it. The Father gave me a riddle, you know, and yeah, they got us lying. They call it a W and it's a double V. Just like when they get you to go to your computer, the first thing you're doing is cursing, right? You got to use your cursor, and they get you cursing. And you know, so that's a little bit of further in depth on the Indo-Germanic friends, okay? And I want to do a reading now, picking it up from our last broadcast. And we usually try to do a few things. I got symbolism also here, and
Desert?
yeah.
Yeah, I was almost going to type in the chat, but yeah.
What?
I have a question. I've been waiting.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Okay, I need questions. That's where we get answers. What's up?
Can we go back to man,
Okay.
please? Yeah, see, that's why I was almost going to type in the chat. I didn't want to let you go anymore before I forgot.
Oh.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um,
What's up?
okay, remember how we were talking in Skype with mantra? The word mantra?
Mantra?
Yeah,
Mantra?
yeah,
Okay.
and we separated that, and
Huh?
man is
Oh yeah,
moon.
the moon tray,
Yeah,
right? The mantra is the moon tray. In other words, it's a Luciferian idea when it
yeah,
represents the moon.
yeah,
Although the moon is not evil by itself, the moon is beautiful.
yeah.
Just like the gun. The gun is not evil by itself, but it's used by bad people. So the occultic use the moon as their symbol, but it also can represent Yeshua as being the softer light. You know, we can't look at the sun, and so in the metaphors, Yeshua is like the light of the moon. We can look at him, but we can't look at the sun, which is where we come from. So, which would then represent Yahweh. You see, so all you know, different metaphors for different aspects. But
But
go
I
ahead, please.
haven't asked my question yet.
Okay.
Um, mantra is a chant that you repeat over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I see that now with the word man in that.
Mm-hmm.
I see that as a kind of worship uh, for man, worshipping man. That's what I see. Um, yeah, that's what I
Well, that's
see.
worshiping criminals and sinners then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
mantra.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Barb wanted us to bow down and worship
yeah,
her, and we wouldn't do it.
and
You know. So
and
yeah,
and
she wanted us to follow her mantra. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and uh, I remember reading somewhere um, that when we create light, when we pray, um, we don't need to repeat the same thing over and over. We don't need to do that, and that's what a mantra is: repeating the same thing over and over. So that makes sense to me now. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, in other words, just like we have intelligent conversation, well, how much more intelligent wouldn't a conversation be with the one who made us?
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
wouldn't be saying, you know, like in the Buddhist tradition, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam
yeah,
Myoho Renge Kyo,
yes,
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Renge Kyo, Renge Kyo, Renge Kyo, blah, 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 you know. Yeah. Oh, I was there when I was 16 years old. Me and my friends used to get stoned and go to these Buddhist meetings outside of Rutgers University. They come round us up, and we're on LSD or smoking pot, and we're going in there, and it was really cool, you know, to be in there. But I knew that wasn't where it was at, but we just you know, stupid kids we are at the time, you know. And sure, so yeah, that's right. We if he, you know, if we're intelligent and we're speaking to each other, how much more intelligent isn't he, and we ought to be speaking just the way we speak to each other, but from the heart
Yes,
and with a
yes,
pure heart
yes,
and a pure
yes.
conscience,
And that's
or
when
ask for
you, yeah,
forgiveness.
and
Yeah,
that's when you feel the connection, and you see him speaking, in little ways and big ways. Everywhere you look, you see him speaking when you,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
this is
I know.
also why symbolism is important, because he's speaking to us
Yeah,
through the signs of nature,
yeah,
and and yeah, and so that's whereas I when I was listening to the preachers early in my life, like when I was still a teenager, or maybe in my early 20s, and they're going, "Don't look at nature." Don't the guy at the pulpit, the Jesuit or the
really.
Mason. Don't look at nature. Nothing's over there to see. Just and so they remove him from all of creation and got him out somewhere in left field where you can't identify with who is this God, but yet everything he made is an image that tells a story. It is a metaphor of life. Everything is speaking, it's shouting. The sunrise. We all want a sunrise, but then that sunrise becomes the final sunrise of a day without end in the symbolism. The sunrise that occurred when Yeshua rose from the dead. Everybody's waiting for him to come back, and gee, that's funny. I've been talking to him all my life. I thought he came back when he rose from the dead. That was his second coming, because he came the first time through his mother Mary. Then he's born again by rising from the dead, and then what did he say to his buddies over there in Galilee? Because Jerusalem was no longer relevant. He says, "Behold, I am with you always, even unto the end of time." Or unto the end of the earth. Behold, I am with you always. So what part of I am with you always, and now the Spirit is coming to one who is ready to receive it at the time they're ready to receive it. But the beast system is so powerful, and the deception is so great that they got people thinking he's not here, but we know he's coming back. I mean, that's the greatest show trick switch out that there's ever been.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, and they don't get it that he is here. You can have a relationship with him. He is
yeah,
spirit. He
yeah.
comes as spirit.
Yeah, like
He
they
killed the
pray to him
flesh.
and they talk to him and they say
Yeah,
they feel his presence, and yet they're
yeah,
looking outwards for a second
yeah.
coming in the same
Well, not
thought.
only that, but the Zionist front, got everybody to think that he's going to sit on a throne in Jerusalem for some reason, even though Jerusalem's irrelevant. They were banished. The 10 tribes were banished in 730 BC, and then the tribe of Utah was banished to Babylon in circa 500 BC, and so that's when Israel was over. Anything that came back was like in the 10 tribes, the northern 10 tribes. They were Babylonians and Assyrians that came and moved in, and then they got the priesthood to teach them how to honor Yahweh, because they didn't want to offend him. They wanted to serve their God and Yahweh at the same time, Yahweh correctly, Yahweh. And then the other tribe, when Judah, Utah correctly, not Judah, July right there, Utah. Then when they came back from Babylon, they brought back with them the Babylonian Talmud. So everything's been convoluted. The word
Yeah,
Torah didn't exist. The word Pharisee didn't exist. The word Sadducee did not exist till they came back from Babylon, and that's when the occultism took over full bloom. Because prior to that, it creeped in anyway. That's a part of the story there. So I know I get on a rant here, but there's so much ground to cover, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to stay with us and follow. These different present. And by the way, go to the Cosmic Essence, okay? Because Ninja is putting up the clips, the shorter versions of what I talk about, okay? The Cosmic Essence. The link is right there on the bottom of the video, right? Yeah, right there. Investigate the Cosmic Essence. Way to go, Ninja. And
no worries.
yeah, I'm not worried. Are you worried? All right. Okay. And
No, I'm
so,
not worried.
no, not worried at all. So, but worry-eyed, worried in the original thought, we can see it as war-eyed. Your eyes are red because you're war-eyed. That's why they know you're worried, right? Because that's the people can't sleep, right? That type of thing. So that's where it comes from. Okay, so we're on a redemption of the soul.
Oh,
Okay, and that's the bottom line about what we talk about here, actually.
yeah,
And a symbol of the substitution of the divine perfection. There's that dirty word again, perfection. Those Christians don't want to hear about that. The divine perfection for the soul's imperfection by paying the price of involved potential perfection in order to make perfect the evolved actual imperfection of qualities and souls. The price paid being dun, 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 the divine self limitation in matter. Let me read that again because that's a deep thought. Okay, so redemption of the soul, the prime definition for that, a symbol of the substitution of the divine perfection for the soul's imperfection. In other words, we come into this world and we're imperfect. I like that thing you said earlier, Ninja. I think you said the baby. You talked about the baby being pure. That when it came in, it comes into the world, and that's the beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thought. Because
Yeah.
that actually represents um, the purity that we came from, the innocence
Yes.
that we
Yes.
came from, but is also a symbol of the innocence and purity we have to go back to. That's
Yes.
why we're told to
Yes.
be
It
as
it
children, right?
slowly
Yeah.
disappears as we get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point,
Yeah.
that little boy or girl decides to lie because they knew they weren't supposed to take those cookies, and now they're caught, and they're afraid, and so now the serpent says, "Go ahead and just lie about it. They won't know. Come on." Right? And that's what happens. The serpent is talking to them, and it's the ego, and it's that
Yeah.
other nature, that duality that we deal with here. Okay, so the paying the price. Let me try this again. A symbol of the substitution of the divine perfection for the soul's imperfection. Okay, the divine protection is the substitute for the imperfection. We can put on perfection if we want. We have a choice. By paying the price of involved potential perfection in order to make perfect the evolved actual imperfection. In other words, the implication is we just keep getting worse as we go along because we're not perfecting anything. That's why it's so hard for older people to readjust, right? They get set in their ways, and
Yes. Yes.
and it's yeah.
Yes.
So
Can't
so
teach
that's
an
the
old dog
problem.
new tricks comes to
The old
mind.
Yeah, and yet we're not dogs. That's the funny part about it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And the potential perfection, in order to make perfect the evolved actual imperfection of qualities and souls, the price paid being the divine self-limitation in matter. Okay, so we have divinity in us, but in the beginning we're limited because we haven't woke up to the reality of our true nature. Continuing, so you were not redeemed with corruptible things, but with the precious blood of the Moshiach, Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, pure, in other words, right? And perfect, therefore, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifested in these last times for you in the final age. That's what these last times mean. Meaning he's calling the funny part where people today are saying it's the last time. Look at right here. It's saying in Cafe Peter these last times, but see it's all incorrect. It is the final age. Yeshua brought us into the age of golden light, of truth and reason, you see? And so that's how they corrupted it by calling it the last times. Okay, continuing. That's 1 Peter 1:18-20, by the way. Blood being a symbol of the divine life. The shedding of this life is the divine sacrifice. Okay, that's the divine sacrifice. What? The shedding of this life is a divine sacrifice. So if you want to put on the perfection, put on the light, you have to die to this world. You got to put off the things of the world. The lamb slain from the foundation of the world, Revelation 13:8. So, and it's not the lamb, it's actually the ram. They switch out the R and the L. We talk about the R and the L. And it is the ram that was slain from the foundation. What ram? Well, if we're talking about from the foundation, the sun as the primary element, the sun as the prime symbol, the logo, that is being sacrificed, is it not? Is it not spending up energy every day to keep us alive, right? That there's enough sunshine that comes down in 1 hour to actually operate everything on Earth for the entire year in 1 hour of sunlight. So it's constantly being sacrificed and spent, and he never goes to sleep. He's constantly maintaining all things, and that is a sacrifice in itself, you see. That's the prime right there, symbol, the logo of the ram, of the Zavram, of Yeshua, the star ray of light, the star ray Rave for the corrupted rabbi, you see.
Wow.
All in the Shavors, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing, in it is the involution of spirit, that's the Aisha fire, into matter. And I just realized I may not have answered Kip's question all the way. And Kip, I hope I touched on it because Asia means royal eye. And so Asia Minor, when they got us to think Asia Minor meant, like the little Asia. No, it doesn't. It means the Asia Minor. A menorah is a light, right? That's why they call the miners go into the cave. Well, who went into the caves first? The little boys and girls. And they called them miners. Why? Because they had a light with them. They had to carry a light. They were the minors, the lights. And so Asia Minor means the light of Asia, and that was Yerul Shalom in its heyday, Jerusalem. Okay, continuing here. It is the involution of Asia fire, the spirit, into matter. Okay, spirit into matter. This is the origin of the indwelling Mo'eshiach, or Christ, who becomes the Redeemer as he rises in the soul, the shul, from the state of latency or death to a state of actuality or life. So we are in a state of death until we receive the great breath of the wind and fire, the Spirit. The indwelling Mo'eshiach, or Christ, is the archetypal Eshan, or man, foreordained as the prototype within humanity, becoming manifest in each soul at the present period of evolution. There is an indwelling Christ, or Mo'eshiach, who redeems the soul from blindness. Let me read this again. There is an indwelling Mo'eshiach, or Christ, who redeems the soul from blindness, which is falsely called sin. It's blindness, it's darkness, and fills it with his own life. That would be light. That's R.J. Campbell's sermon, Christ Arisen. Continuing, the glaring contrast between earthly suffering and imperfection on the one part, and the heavenly or cosmic enlightenment and purity on the other, lies at the heart of the core of the philosophy of the Orphices and Pythagoreans, and hence came their longing for purification, for atonement, and final redemption. The goal that they aimed at was hard to attain. A single earthly existence was not enough to cleanse the soul. Lekuna. A long series of palingenesis formed a kind of continuous pilgrimage extending through thousands of years. Now, this is another philosophy, of course, and interrupted and embittered by the penalties suffered by the soul in the pool of mire. There you go, the pool of mire, the Talmud. And late if at all, the soul was freed from its labors and returned to the starting point at its journey. As a pure spirit, once more, it re-entered its home and rejoined the brotherhood of the enlightened ones, of the Ulufhaim. Okay, that's from the Greek Thinkers, Volume 1, page 1. So, and there are parallels. That's why we read, these other thoughts, because there are parallels, and they help us see more clearly our own tradition at times. Because there's a parallel, just like the Titans, in the Greek culture are the Watchers. They are the fallen ones. If you read the Titans now, you'll see more clearly now that you know that. Redemption. Let me turn on a little more light here. I've got a light problem. Okay, redemption. I think we all have a light problem. Redemption is the full compensation both to Yahweh, who is the great Dolofheim, and to the universe for all that is undergone and suffered by and through creation. And it is brought about by the return from matter of spirit to its original condition of purity, but individuated and enriched by the results of all that has been gained through the processes to which it has been subjected, results which but for matter could not have been, that through which we are made perfect is experience. There you go. Of course it would have to be experience that makes us perfect, because we got tired of being stupid. We got tired of failing. We get tired of everything, of this world. That through which we are made perfect is experience, or suffering, Ninja. That's right, suffering. And we are only really alive and exist in, that's another reason you can thank Barb again, right? For the persecution you went through from her,
Yeah.
because it was for your benefit.
Yep.
She's the scapegoat. She's the one in darkness. She's the one who's sick and perverted and thinks and made her out to be some you wish
Goddess.
princess,
Yeah.
you wish princess. She wishes, and yeah, so
I'm
sickening.
sorry.
Yeah, you know what I mean when I say
I'm,
you wish,
I'm,
right?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
giggly. I'm sorry.
you're loving it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so and continuing here,
I'm
and
just
we
gonna
are
mute
only
out.
you better mute out, yeah,
I'm
and we
muted.
are only really alive and exist insofar as we have felt, okay, or have feeling, maybe it should say. Now, of this divine and indispensable ministry of experience, matter is the agent. Yeah, matter is the active agent because it's our house, it's our automobile. We need the body to have an experience in this lower realm. And that's out of the perfect way, page 43. I should like to be informed who was ever made spiritually rich by notions of an outward Moeshiach. No, Moeshiach or Christ is the inward spiritual being or life that the great Elohim and Yahweh has sent now into us to be the actual redeemer of this our natural being from its low estate and to rise it from death, I say, joint in heirship with himself. That's John Ward, Zion's Works, volume 7, page 3. Redemption is the making good of what we have made ill, and it contains two necessary ingredients: relief and reinforcement. And in the Moeshiach Christ, we have both. Here on earth, we are immersed and stifled in matter. And in more ethical dark and immoral darkness, their morals is in darkness because ethics is what we want, not morals and dogma. And in moral darkness and stupor. Yeah, darkness. He got it right. I can't get over it. All to a great end. A great end. Yeah. Started out bad, but we can all have a great end, ladies and gentlemen. As Paul said, we're all in a race, and the good news is we can all win the prize of immortality and of the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit. Okay, and we have to be got out and brought back somehow to that whence we came. That's the light. Everything came out of the light. Everything came out of the light. Even the earth came out of the sun and the planets and the moons. If we were left only to ourselves, we never should get out or up. That's right. It is because of our vital indefensible, excuse me, it is because of our vital indefeasible relation, okay, relation to Moeshiach Christ that we can hope to come victoriously through into divine liberty or freedom and joy, which is a code also for enlightenment. That's R.J. Campbell sermon, The Divine Mystery. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've got redemption of the soul. Okay, and so this book is the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths by G.A. Gaskill, and this is before the computer. I mean, this guy put a dictionary together that will blow your mind. But
It's amazing. Yeah.
references to any of the things we deal with. You can look up church, look up bread, look up Christ, look up suffering, look up these key words, and he's defining our scriptures in there better than any other dictionary. It elaborates on the idiom, the allegory, the metaphor, the symbolic nature of these things, and it's deep study. I read it from the alphabet every day, another definition, and I work through A through Z, and then I go back and start over at the beginning again and move my post-it note down, so I don't get bored just reading A. I get to read all the alphabet in a rhythm, and that's what I'm bringing on here. I'm sharing it with you all. Now I want to bring on at least symbols, symbolism, and I've got a definition here, but I think I need just a 3-minute. You got a 3-minute break, Ninja?
I can do one. Just hang on.
All
Sorry.
right,
I have a very
and
long
then we'll
list.
then we'll wind it down. I appreciate everybody being here. I know you all have stuff to do. I'm trying to figure out how. Thank you, Kip. I'm trying to figure out how Kip can listen while he's driving. You must get it from a satellite, Kip. Is that how you do that? You're listening by satellite to YouTube Live? That's amazing. It should be the last, and you're typing while you're driving as well. Get out of here.
Maybe
You
he
know,
stopped
you don't
at
have
a
your feet
truck
up on
stop.
the dashboard, do you? Okay. It's what'd you say, Ninja? I'm sorry.
Maybe he's stopped at a truck stop.
No, I think he's dry. He said they had 3 hours to go home. It should at
Or,
least make
or
everyone
voice to
consider.
text. Voice to
Voice to
text.
text.
That is a possibility.
No, he can't be reading my words while he's driving. He's got to be
No,
hearing it.
like if you instead of typing using your hand to type, you talk and it types for you.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All
it's a
right.
thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That got you. Oh, yeah. All right. New stuff
I've
every
never
day.
tried it, but
All
yeah,
right. All
yeah,
right. Let's
it's a
do a
thing.
break, and then we'll be back. We'll finish shop here, ladies and gentlemen. Very honored to meet some wonderful new friends, and you're hanging in there. I appreciate it. Remember, there's lots of recorded content, so you can hear the replays if you want. We try to put on good graphics to coincide with the presentation so you're not bored, but also get a little bit of enlightenment at the same time by a certain type of graphic. We're
Yeah,
trying to
I
make
try and
lemonade out of
match,
lemons.
try and
It's a
match
tough
it.
world. Ninja
Yeah.
Ninja don't get paid for this. She suffers for this, okay, in many ways. Persecution as well as lack of sleep. Plus she's taking care of her mother 24/7, and so I don't know how she does it, but I'm just grateful that she
Yeah,
does.
I need to. I need to,
Uh,
Desert. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Kip says Yeshua is his pilot. That's why he's able to do this. Okay, great.
Let there be light. Yeah. Um. Okay. All right. Yeah. I've found an appropriate break. Desert.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'm keeping the headset on. I'm not going away. I'm just gonna drink my spicy tea right here. That really helps me on my throat.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about mace. You have no idea what
Wow.
that word means, ladies and gentlemen. Mace. Yeah. You think you know.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. My
You're
head's
going to get
spinning.
emaciated.
Yeah.
All right.
Head
Go ahead.
spinning. All right. Guys, stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome back, guys. You're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series and Forbidden History Live YouTube channels. Please subscribe, the links are in the description. And I'm also beside myself in the chat. I'm the Cosmic Essence as well. That link is also in the description. Please subscribe. It's got short clips of everything that we're uploading. We're slowly clipping the live streams and putting them over onto Cosmic to make it easier to find different topics and things, so you don't have to go back through hours and hours of live streams. Okay, I just want to say no worries, Raymond. It's good to see you back. I haven't seen you for a while, so yeah, it was good that you stopped in. So thank you. And yeah, welcome back, Desert. No worries. Just hang on. And I think I hit the wrong button. I don't think they can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I think they can hear you now.
Okay, I said it's great to be back. No, who's worried, right? Okay, so we're in symbolism. I read out of a symbolic encyclopedia on symbols, and this is a dictionary of symbols that was originally in Spanish out of Europe. Surlat is the writer, and it's of course translated into English. And so mace, and I've read these books from cover to cover now over 40 years, and then now I'm going over them again, but for everybody else's benefit. So I try to pick out key words or symbols. And mace is an interesting one. It's just merely that it is interesting to compare the idea of mace. We think of what you put in like a gun, right? It's mace. You spray it at somebody for defense. But now here, let's hear a different aspect of mace. A determinative sign. Well, okay. Now wait a minute. Before I go further, let's pose the question: what does mace do? Right? They spray it in your eyes, so you can't see. Right? Right. That's what mace does. Right? It gets you blinded for a moment. Right?
Yes, I see something else in it too, but do you want me to wait?
Well, no, you can elaborate right now. You're not going to spill the beans on me, are you?
That's why. Do you want me to wait?
All right, you can wait and tell me if you saw it, right?
I'm hanging off the edge of my seat, but I'll wait.
Yeah, because see, this is what's interesting about the word. It's about vision, right? And okay, so a determinative sign in the Metzarem or Egyptian system of hieroglyphs, governing the idea of the creative word and achievement. Okay, so it's a determinative sign, and they call it mace. So there's one symbol, apparently, that creates a sign. Let me read that again. A determinative sign it says Egyptian, but it's Metzar, Egyptian system of hieroglyphs, governing the idea of the creative word. So it's another. It's sort of like, as I see it, it's like a symbol replacing another symbol, right? Like, in other words, I tell you that the I is really a cover for the word Y, right? Or the A, right? And so there's your mace. You see, it's covering for something else. So continuing here, it is also related to the O-A-R, the scepter, the staff, and the club, all of them symbolic instruments of one morphological family. And so we know with an Aurora scepter and a staff and a club, we can hit you over the head, so then you'll be emaciated, right?
Yeah, with spiky
and that's interesting.
Bits on it.
It's
mace,
interesting.
Isn't it?
What's that?
A mace has got the pointy bits on a ball. Is that a mace?
I don't know. I'm not familiar. I know the weapon, but I don't know what they call it.
Like a bat, but
yes, it's a ball with spikes on it, right? With the chain. Right? And okay. In Metzar, Egypt, the Aurora was also linked with the idea of creating. Well, certainly, because they rode everywhere they wanted to go to conquer the world, and to bring back produce from around the world. So the Aurora was a symbolic of that, and plus it goes in circles, and the circle is then also symbolic of sun, earth, and moon, everything going around, everything spinning. As a weapon, the mace denotes a crushing blow or outer destruction and not simply victory over the adversary. It is therefore used as the insignia denoting the annihilation of the subjective, assertive tendency in man, and also of the monsters symbolizing this tendency. For the same reason, it is the attribute of Hercules. Okay, so mace. So there's more things to be done with that. So did that get close to what you were thinking, Ninja?
Um, kind of a little bit. Um, when
Okay.
you said mace, the first thing I thought of was Mason and Masonic. That's what I thought
Well, that
of.
is interesting, isn't it?
Yes. And
Absolutely.
what you
Yeah.
said just it fits. It fits with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're creating one symbol to represent another symbol, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and they got us to think they're just good old boys wanting to better their lives when they're good old boys wanting to better their lives, but screw everybody else, right? That's their idea of bettering their lives.
Yeah. And I just
Yeah.
saw something else as well.
Okay.
I don't know if you touched on this before, but looking at the word Masonic, I see Sonic, and that also,
Yeah, Sonic
yeah,
is also shown, means of the light, a light speed. That's
yeah,
what it implies, light
yeah.
speed. hmm And okay, so I'll do a couple more because I like what I'm looking at in the M section that's still following,
I like
and
what
so I'll
I'm
do a
hearing.
few.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll do a couple more. All right.
Okay.
Machines. The symbolism of machines is founded upon the shape of their components and the rhythm and direction of their movement. Broadly speaking, uh, the symbolism finds its inspiration in the obvious analogy with the physiological functions of ingestion, digestion, and reproduction. So that's a simple definition. But you know what I was thinking of when I was reading that was that word motor again, right? And I said the where the motor comes from is when they were building the buildings like in Babylon and they're saying, mortar, mortar, I need mortar for my blocks, mortar. And so you keep passing something on like a motor, right? Back and here comes another one, here comes
Wow.
another one, mortar,
Yeah.
mortar. And that's where we get the word motor. It means literally more tar,
Yeah.
you see? Yeah. And then that would be the mother at the same time. Motor is mother, and the tar is mother.
So
The
what
tar
about,
is from Mother Earth, right? Go
sorry
ahead.
to veer off, but what about brick? Because they say bricks and mortar. Bricks and mortar. What about brick? B R
Well,
I C K.
I got to look at it because the
Sorry.
B is a V. Of course, we know that, right?
Yeah.
Unless we can use other letters, but I don't want to use. There's one I don't want to use. Brick. But there's so much corruption here that it's hard to say. I'd have to like do a search in the Indo-Germanic dictionaries on it because it's real. The C is a corruption, the I is a corruption, the
Yeah.
B is a corruption. So the only thing you got left is the R and the K.
Yeah.
So
And it also made me think of bric-a-brac. Bric-a-brac. Anyway,
right.
please continue.
But there you get rack. You got rack with brick, rack, and you put it in a rack, the mud in a rack to dry. You put the
Yeah.
mud in a rack,
Yeah.
then you take the rack up, and then the brick dries in the sun. So
Yeah.
a rack is used. So that may be a part element in the word brick, or the rack. Okay, and so
Wow.
continuing here, then we just talked about today. It's always being presented. This idea of macrocosm, microcosm, and it's always in our discussions. And so this relationship is symbolic of the situation in the universe of the man or Ashan as the measure of all things, the basis of this relationship, which has occupied the minds of thinkers and mystics of all kinds in all ages, is the symbolism of man or Ashan himself, particularly as the universal Ashan or man, together with his correspondences with the zodiac, the planets, and the elements, as Origin observed, quote, understand that you are another world in miniature, and that in you are the sun, the moon, and also the stars. Okay, and
Wow.
so yeah, we are. We are. I always say we are the center of our own universe, and our body itself is a microcosm
Yeah.
of that macrocosm, right? With its trillions of cells. What a miracle
That's
universe it
yeah,
is.
that's beautiful the
That
way
keeps
that
on
was
spinning. Yeah.
explained. Yeah.
Okay. So then we got maize, like mace. Maize, one of the 8 common emblems of China. Maize is symbolic of prosperity and is widely used in ornamental art. Almost all cereals have a common meaning in that they are spermatic images. Peruvians represent fertility by means of the figure of a woman made out of stalks of maize, which they call the mother of the maize. So they're calling the corn, what we would call corn, they're calling it maize. But I think the reason it sounds like when you go into a maze, right, and you get
Yeah.
lost,
Yeah.
is because in a cornfield, what happens? You get
You get
lost, right?
lost. Yeah.
You get lost in a corn. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
a synonymous term. And of course, corn in the Middle English means seed. It doesn't mean corn on the cob. It means seed. And this is how these words are used
Yeah.
differently.
And the
And that's
maze.
really
Sorry.
hmm, no,
And so I'm sorry. I'm getting excited.
that's
And the
apologies
maze
now.
is used a lot, like symbolically with the deceivers.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah.
And and so
Sorry.
this is a problem we have in no, that's right. We have problem with translations because like whenever you see the word corn, actually corn should be properly translated as seed. You see, because that's what it implies, like what they call the horn of plenty, right? Remember that, and they take out the C and the K. Remember we talked about that, like with Haran, it's really Quran, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
therefore, horn is really corn. You see, and that's why it
Yes.
goes from a tiny point to a big opening, right? It's the corn of plenty, the horn of plenty. You see, and
Yes.
yeah, so we got this is the problems we have, and so we have to get deep into the root forms because we could be participating then in the false narratives by perpetuating the improper spelling of words, and that's why they put us under the spell because that way we never know how to spell. So they put that spell on us by spelling it for us, and they say this is how you spell it. Don't ask any questions, or you're going to the back of the room, sitting in the corner with a dunce crone, a horn of plenty on your head. Okay, yeah, all right, and that'll be pretty corny for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Nakara. Remember the guy who asked all the questions? He was getting punished, right? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Don't ask any more questions, okay? I'm going to smack you next time you ask me a question. All right. I guess I won't ask any more questions. All right. Makara.
Sorry, that happened
Yeah.
to me actually at an early age.
Yeah.
I
Figure. See, there
stopped
you
asking
go.
questions. Yeah,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right. So one more, just a short one. Makara is an Indian mythic monster, part fish, part crocodile. It is also to be found in the ornamental art of the Indonesians. Okay. And when we get back in the M next time, we're going to do man, but it's so big, I'm not going to do it here. So man comes up next, and
Wow, that'll
that's
be a good one.
yeah, well, yeah, because it's I have no idea how it's defining it because I already know the word is wrong. So right
Yeah.
out the gate, that's the problem. And so to cap off today, I just think and we haven't gone in them enough because I usually reserve it for the back of the program. But let's go into New Testament Light by George Lamsa and Old Testament Light, Ninja. That I've been wanting to work my way through these meanings, these short definitions that George Lamsa. Now George Lamsa, for any of our new friends here, he gave us the Peshitta Aramaic version in circa 1933. Came from Kurdistan, deep in the mountains of Kurdistan, where the original Aramaic-speaking people, the last remnant that speak the pure Aramaic of Yeshua, were found. Christians, Kurdistani Christians. So he came to America, spoke 5 languages, and wanted to publish his Aramaic version, and they wouldn't do it because they said, "No, we can't publish this, George. Sorry, but if you let us rewrite it, maybe we'll publish it for you." And she said, "Okay." And so he just wrote 20 books to support his work, but they changed so many of the words and the Eight Shavors. And so here we are in the word naked. That's snaked, right?
Oh, wait,
There's
looking for. Yep. Okay.
what?
Please continue. I'm just
All right.
scrolling. Yeah.
All right. So
Please
naked,
continue.
an S on snake. You got snake right in there. You see, when they were naked, they were snaked in the garden. They were the serpents in the garden, the snaky, sneaking around, hiding behind bushes because they knew they were the serpent. And they both. And when you sneak, you snake. And of course you put on the shirt pant, you put on the shirt and the pants, you're putting on the serpent, and we've talked about this all the time. And hope people finally get it, Ninja.
Yeah.
That these things can be defined, and the terms that they gave us are false terms, and we went over that. Just go listen to Adam, the story on Adam, the true nature of Adam in the Cosmic Essence channel that Ninja put up for us, and we'll define it for you. Okay, blow your mind.
Links
And
in the
there,
description.
yeah,
Yep.
in the description.
Yep.
At the top of the description,
It
actually, you
is.
can't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were both naked. The man and his Ashaphe, that's wife. The creation and his wife. And they were not ashamed. Genesis 2:25. That's because they were innocent at that point. They were innocent. That's why they knew no shame. At the early stage, Adam and Keva knew nothing about darkness or the blindness of sin. Everything which and now I'm reading the words of Lamsa, by the way. And everything which the great Dolophaim had created was perfect, and they the word was Yaltzar, and it meant the product of a star. And even Keva was the came out of the side of the royal star. Yeah, and so oh, I lost my place here. So everything that the great Dolophaim had made was perfect, and they also were perfect. Hence, there was no idea of what we call evil, as Lamsa says here, which we could also imply darkness. And so sin or blindness, because sin means blindness, shame and evil, which would be darkness, came as the result of transgression against Yahweh's command. And as long as the divine command was not broken, blindness was dormant, and Adam and Keva were not ashamed of anything. Shame, like blindness, came through disobedience to the pure shelter or the law of Yahweh, who is the great Dolophaim. That's what Lord God means. Yahweh, who is the great Dolophaim, not Lord God. Those are modern day creations and mean something else. The term naked, snakeeth, also means exposed or ashamed. There was nothing wherewith to hide their sins from the presence of Yahweh. Okay, so next time, the next word was interesting. The word that comes right after naked is serpent. And coming up next on the next presentation. Mm-hmm. And then we're in the New Testament Light. That was Old Testament Light by George Lamsa. And the publisher, for anybody who wants to get a copy, is this one came out of Pretense Hall. I think there were several publishers doing the work of, like right here, Harper and Row is the New Testament Light, but there's nothing new under the sun. And as it says in our Schultre scriptures, that all things were finished from the beginning. So even before that creation began to move forward, all things were designed by Yahweh, and then He's at rest. And so the New Testament is a corruption. There's nothing new. It is the everlasting Keva Nun, the everlasting covenant. Covenant is Keva Nun. There's Eve right there, the virgin light at high noon, Keva Nun. You see? And so how they change these Shavors, ladies and gentlemen, quite a trick, and we're exposing it here. And not many people are gonna get it because, as I said, many seek to enter in, but few do get it. So we're here now with royal messengers and the seat of the sun, where it's got holy angels, but of course that's royal messengers. There are no angels. For the seat of the sun will come in his illumination of his Father with his royal messengers, and then he will reward every Ashan according to his works. That's in the golden age of light that we are now in. For he has come back from the dead. What better comeback could you ask for than coming back from the dead? The Aramaic word for Malak, or as Lamsa is actually defining it here, he says angel in quotes. Okay, so I'll read it. The Aramaic word for angel, guess what? Is Malakah. Malakah that's the Syriac. which is the Western Aramaic, which was corrupted by priesthoods as well. That's a story we've told, which means a counselor, but more correctly, counselor is good, but royal messenger is the correct definitive of Malak, a representative of Yahweh, a messenger. There you go. Malaks are the spirits. Now we are the Malak. We are the spirits. Even Lamps have bought into some of that false narrative, as I've noticed. We've all been deceived, all of us. And so continuing here, and they are Yahweh's counsel. Well, we are the spirits. We are, in that sense, the spirits as well. We are a spirit. Yahweh, who is the great Dol of Fame, being the eternal spirit, is everywhere. Is everywhere. Sure he is. And his counsel is also everywhere. And another meaning of Malakha is Melokha is king. So there's the word. That's why the king is not the head. He's a royal messenger.
Yeah.
The king is a representative of the light, of the Yahweh. In biblical days, I think we're still in biblical days if you ask me, but anyway, we know what he means. In biblical days, the royal messengers were pictured with wings to signify, that's why I called it angels here, because they're pictured with wings. That's a false image. We were not to make images. That's why, because it creates a false narrative to signify that Yahweh's counsel is everywhere. Wings symbolize the omnipresence of Yahweh and his Eshafar, the spirit. No matter where one seeks Yahweh's counsel, it is there in an instant. Where Yeshua was rejected, repudiated, and crucified with malefactors, that's criminals. And as far as the world was concerned, he died, defeated Ashan. Not those of us who know the truth, though. He wasn't defeated. He had victory. That's what it represented, the victory of transformation from flesh, serpent, into spirit, back home again. But I'm interjecting that here, continuing with Lamsa. But he here implies that his death on the cross was not the end of his mission, but the beginning thereof. There you go. Because when he rose from the dead, he ushered in the golden age of light. He's here with us always. I am with you always, even unto the end of time. The day will come when his royal domain, kingdom, will be established. See, Lamsa even doesn't get it. That he established his royal domain. He said the kingdom of heaven is in hand. At hand is in hand, meaning it's here right now. And even people don't get, the kingdom has always been here. And even Lamsa, I can't get over it. When the guy's a genius on one hand, some of the most basic teaching, the sound teaching of Scripture, is misconstrued. Yeah. And it shows that the corruption has. Well, that's why the Roman government told the Easterns back around when Constantine took over the Eastern Empire, Constantine the Great, who isn't great. And then they got the priests to go into the East, and he told them, "You give us your copies of the Diatessaron, or we're going to kill you." And they said, "Oh, okay, we'll give them to you. Here you go." And like in one monastery alone, they burned like over 250 copies. And so that's when they gave them their new scriptures with the new alphabet, the El Strangolo, which is demotic and not the original letters we see on our driver's license today, or the capital letters we call Phoenician alphabet. You see, so all of our traditions have been affected, even in the East, by the Roman Empire and the priesthoods, the unseen hand, the sovereigns of the earth, the priesthood, and he will come accompanied by his royal messengers. Okay, well, he does. We are his royal messengers. We're coming right now, telling the message that others have tried of late to destroy, that we just exposed last week. Others have come to try to destroy this message. Someone who's forbidden to teach, by the way.
Desert.
The Aramaic. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm being interrupted by one of the cats, so I have to let him out, otherwise he'll start jumping on me.
I got you covered, Ninja. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. I will be right back.
All right.
I'm sorry.
You'll be right forward, one or the other. Right back or forward. What either way. Just get over here. All right. So the Aramaic term, right on your side. All right. The Aramaic term for kingdom is Malkutha, which means counsel. So even the word for kingdom, okay, that is to say Yahweh's counsel will triumph at the end. Moreover, in the East, When a nation or man suffers defeat or loss, loses his political or economic power, we say he is dead. He is dead. But when he succeeds, we say he has come back again from the dead. Now, Yeshua will return. He did return, George. What's the matter with you? Yeshua will return. I do not know, but one thing I do know, that his kingdom will be established on earth. Well, it was established. I can't get over it. That's why I got to do the live, the correction here as we're doing this, because I love George Lamb, so I respect him. He gave us the most important translation from the East, and yet that the doctrines have been so twisted that we have to untwist them right here, and so that's why you're hearing it. And I'm willing to talk about this in further depth with anybody if you want to call in, with a question, okay? Because these are important parts in the element. The kingdom of heaven has always been here, you see? And they said 2,000 years ago, it's at hand. Well, what does at hand mean other than in your hand? Meaning it has come. And what did Yeshua say to his followers? He said, the harvest is great. The harvest. Well, then they're doing a harvest 2,000 years ago. And he says, the harvest is great. Create light before the great Father of light that it will bring more workers to the harvest. So the harvest started officially 2,000 years ago. Okay, and there's been a harvest ever since when somebody's ready to be picked from this lower garden in their harvest, you see? So the Aramaic for kingdom, I read that. Moreover, to east when a man suffered, I read that. Okay, the kingdom, okay, I read that. And earth as it is in. So the kingdom of the well, as I transliterate kingdom as the royal house of the sun, okay, and the ideal for which he died is accepted by all humanity. To bring us back to the light, the royal house of the sun. Yeshua, the Moshiach, does come in his illumination. Does come, and not will come, does come. And he will, in the sense when you prepared yourself, when you've separated yourself from the corruption of the world, does come in the illumination in the hearts of all followers. And he went up in a spiritual body, and he does return in a spiritual body, not the flesh. He destroyed the flesh, right? Just like he destroyed phony Israel. He destroyed them too. And he has never left his followers. He has always been with them. Whenever two of them are together, he is in the middle of them. See Daniel 7:10, other articles on royal messengers in the Gospel Light and the Old Testament Light by the same author. And so there you have the New Testament Light, which is the everlasting covenant. Kevanun is the virgin light at high noon, or the fiery keys at high noon. The fiery keys also symbolic of sun and moon. And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And it's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here, because somebody's got to do it. And I'm the glutton for punishment to bring it your way, And I've been trying to share all my life what I have been learning from Yahweh, and it's difficult when we've been so deceived to make a lemon out of lemonades, or make sense out of corrupt traditions, because there is no pure tradition other than the one that's in Yeshua, in the light, and it's not a part of some organization, with and a building with bricks and a male phallus on top and a vagina for a front door. That's occultic, okay? Because you can't read the symbol, but it's showing you who's really running our world. Ninja, you wanted to join me here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You said lemon out of lemonade again.
Oh, and you were just putting some lemons up, weren't you?
Yeah, but you said make lemon out of lemonade.
Oh, oh, I said make lemon out of lemonade?
Yes.
Well, yeah, so you can tell we're at the end of the program now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm ready for some lunch and then maybe to lay down and
Yeah,
recharge.
lay down. That'd be good. Yeah.
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 And I want to welcome Rock G. I don't think I've seen Rock G on our broadcast before. We've got new listeners coming in. That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
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 Okay. So Ninja, any follow up? Did I miss anybody's important question, or we're winding it down right now?
Yeah, winding it down. Yeah, my mind is boggled, and and my head is spinning. Wow, Desert, you got a lot out. You got a lot out tonight. Tonight. Um,
Yeah.
That
Well, I'm
was a
motivated when we got
yeah,
people attacking our work and trying to make it so we can't grow and are canvassing our friends that come in on the side and telling them
yeah,
things that are not true, not correct, and incomplete, and defaming my character. All of these things when they are the true mother sons of darkness and have no connection with the light by their behavior. It's obvious. It's difficult. You wear out. I've wanted to give up long time ago, but I hung in there. And then last year, June 21st on 2018, when I got back on broadcasting again, could ramp up my YouTube channel for the second or third time because I kept getting sabotaged. Then, you came in and Lynn and Shelly, Shelly and others. And it just, I suddenly felt some self-worth, that I could share with other people what is so important to me, what I wanted to know, and I don't care if nobody else knows it or follows it. I'm willing to stand alone with what I know to be the truth from the tree's root,
yeah.
and the truth is not a part of any lie.
You're not
And
alone anymore.
no,
Yeah,
I know that it's fantastic, and that's why I don't have a feeling of wanting to go get the rope,
yeah,
because I now have purpose. You need, you absorb what I'm sharing with you. You need it. I need it. Others that are tuned in need it. They get it. That's why they're tuned in. They're willing to stay here for 3 hours and listen to this because it's not. It's a deep study. We're out in the deep water. That's why we don't have a big listening audience
yeah,
because we're not in the shallow waters of the bay where it's safe and you can see the bottom. We're out in the deep waters where you can't see the bottom,
yeah,
and and at the same time, then there's always a lot of sharks out there too. You got to look out for, and they're ready to eat you alive.
yep,
So
yeah.
yeah. So, okay, Ninja. So then it looks like we've got no more questions out there. You're good. And I just want to thank you for producing for us. You do such great work. People need to go to the Cosmic Essence, your other channel. You're producing for Yeshua, and where we've got you just uploaded the first piece on the Watchers, correctly called the Vekaresh in the original thought Indo-Germanic, which we find as the Vicars in the Vatican. But there's behind it all the unseen hand, also known as the hidden hand. And these are the people you're never going to know who really run our world. The Vatican's the front office. They don't live in the front office. They use the front office. At one time, it was Egypt, correctly, Metsar. And, at one point, it was Babylon. At another point, it was Greece. At another point, it's Rome. And then it takes on the religious aura because it's easier to control mankind with a religious state than it is with the political state. The political states are the puppies, but the religious state is the opium that they control us all with. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm very honored to meet some new friends and listeners that are coming in, and we're here to answer questions. If you got them, bring them on because I don't like just hearing myself talk. If we can help somebody figure out an important part of this a story of our ancient past, the forbidden history, or from the scriptural standpoint, I'm good to go. Okay, that's what I do here. I want to get a caller generated program, so we got to figure out, Ninja, how to get callers on Skype, or I got to get a speaker for my
Yeah,
new iPhone so we can set that up. So we'll do
yeah,
that.
yeah. I don't know
We're
about
just
Skype because it slows it down with just
all right. Well,
between
I
me
can
and
take them on
you.
mine.
So
I can take
having yeah,
yeah, I can take them on mine.
yeah,
If I can just figure out how to get it in through the headset, so that's what we got to figure out. There's got to be a way
yeah,
to do that. All right, so I want to again wish everybody all the best, and don't forget I'm Dezert-Owl telling you if you want to know the future, then just look for the Forbidden History because it's all right here on NinjaCat 111 every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's the Forbidden History Chronicles. What they didn't want you to know.
that we tell right here.
Thank you, Ninja. I'll see you. Peace and love, hon.
Peace and love, Desert. Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you.
And you hang up.
I'm hanging up right now. I didn't forget.
I'm sorry. It's late, early, whatever. Um, okay, guys, thank you. It was really good to see you guys that I haven't seen for quite a while. Rock and Raymond, we met in Turtles Chat last year. So yeah, Rock, no, Turtles not on. I was just saying, yeah, we met in Turtles Chat. Um, yeah. So thank you for stopping by, and to everyone else, thank you, moderators. Um, Yojani and Linjani, and Desert is also blue for now until he tells me to stop it. And Kip and Just Love, and I know I'm gonna miss. I know I'm gonna miss somebody. I want to say everybody. Who else was there? Valerie, and I know there was someone else. Where is she? Sorry, it's really late. Jackie, that's it. And Jackie. Thanks, guys. It was amazing. Um, we wouldn't be here without you. Anyway, be safe out there, and please join us next time. And also keep an eye out for notifications for Forbidden History Live as well. I love you all, and see you later. And I just lost my little music break. Hang on. Alright, be safe out there, guys.